Let's start off today with something wonderful, or hear a story about someone being marvelous. Let's make today Wonderless. This is the podcast that gives you a daily dose of uplifting, feel-good stories from around the world. Welcome to another episode of Wonderless News. I'm Hoyt Christopher. Let's get right to it. So our first news segment is teenager wins $48 million her first time playing the lottery. That's right. $48 million, first time playing the lottery. Juliette Lamour from Canada just turned 18. Okay. And she decided to play the lottery for the first time. Ended up winning the big boy jackpot, $48 million. That's Canadian dollars, around 36 million US dollars. And here's how it happened. So her grandfather said, hey, you just turned 18. Why don't you go buy a lottery ticket and see how your luck is? How was your luck, Juliette? $48 million of luck. That's right. She won the big one. She was actually at work after she purchased the ticket. I guess they have an app in Canada where you can check to see if you won. She plugged in the numbers for her ticket, and the app started making this extraordinary noise, probably something similar to slot machines in Vegas or whatnot. And sure enough, she won the jackpot. Her colleagues at work were ecstatic. She was ecstatic, I think shocked also. And first time playing the lottery and you get 48 million. I got a buddy who plays the lottery every week, lottery. I think it's every week he buys a couple tickets, maybe every couple weeks. And he has still not won. But you would think that the, numbers, just math in general, and obviously luck, that he would eventually win. Well, it was her first time out, and she broke all that into pieces with this big win. So Juliette, big congrats to her. Of course, asked what she would do with the money, because who wouldn't want to think about that? She said she's going to med school. So guess what? She's got med school money. She can pay for med school, no problem. And at this summer, she's also going to take her family on a trip somewhere. She says that it's not about buying things, but having experiences. And so looking forward to taking her family and seeing other parts of the world and doing some traveling. So not a bad way to spend $48 million. What would you do with $48 million? I mean, I think my buddies and I used to play this a lot in high school. We'd actually, not as much the lottery, because, we weren't 18 yet, but we would say, if you found a bag of cash, 30,000 or 10,000, whatever number was a lot for, a 14-year-old, what would you do? What would you spend it on? At that time, my needs were much different. So it surrounded itself with cars and motorcycles and gadgets, what have you. Now, what would you do? And maybe for you, it's the same. Maybe it is cars and gadgets. But maybe for someone like me, it would be investments, futures for my family, put it into a trust for my children and their grandchildren, all that. But 48 million, that's a game-changing number for us in Canada and the US. So you go, Juliette. Okay. Next segment, next news article, is cat shelter in California goes viral. I love this story. So this animal shelter in Los Angeles, as an adoption center and sanctuary, they had a lot of cats. And one of the vets close to them, they noticed on social media, was doing this like good cat, bad cat thing on social media. And it was getting a lot of traction, activity, a lot of shares. And they said, what a great idea for us. We've got all these cats. We're having a really difficult time placing them all in good homes. So they started to do the same thing. They have a good cat of the week and a bad cat of the week. Put a picture up, they do a video, they post it on social media. Well, it went viral. It's been crazy busy for them. They are now going through the adoption process so much more quickly than they were before. And the video and the photos of these cats and what's happening is really fun to watch. One of the things I thought was interesting too about the story was that they said it's actually been more and more difficult to find the bad cat. So this one cat named Kalo happens to be sort of the traditional bad cat. He's 9 times out of 10, you can use him to be the bad cat because he hasn't been the best, maybe not the worst, that he has been in the past. But interesting that they fill the good cat position pretty well. But having that bad cat, so at times it's more difficult. So Kalo takes that seat. I love it. So great job for them, and great to be able to place those animals. I know that we have a pug. We don't have a cat. My daughter loves cats and wants a cat, so we're gonna have to get one. But we really try to go through the shelters and pick up animals as pets there, as opposed to going through a breeder. We've done both in some ways, but with our current dog, he's been with us for like 12 years, and he was found. My sister found him on the street, and her kids, and he's been with us for like 12 years now. So, I mean, he was a baby when we got him. He's actually probably 13, but great. Love the story. Love the message of that, to really give out and try to, help these cats and use social media. Why not? All right. So that takes us to a Wonderless moment of the day. Our Wonderless moment of the day is brought to you by our sponsor, Rise by Shaman Angelina. She has an Etsy store. She makes handmade coastal jewelry with beautiful stones, sea glass of all different colors. She does necklaces. I think she's starting to work on doing some earrings and bracelets. Her link to her store on Etsy is in the content of the podcast, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the body of the post and the story. So check that out. But love the sponsor of the day. And today, what we're going to do is we are going to feature sounds of rain. I love rain. I love the sound of rain. Love to see it. Probably because I'm in Southern California, we don't get a lot of it. If you're in Seattle or some other place around the country or around the world where it rains a lot or too much, in your opinion, probably not loving it. But here's about 20 seconds of that rain. You can see it. You can hear it. Just take a moment to relax and feel something really, really positive from this. Ah, I love that. I love that feeling. I could do that. I could do that maybe a couple times a week if it rained. I'd be happy with that. So I don't know. All right, next segment. Missing 4-year-old boy is returned to his father. So this 4-year-old boy, they're in Florida. His dad, it's around 8:39 in the morning. His dad gives him the iPad. He's playing around with the iPad. I got a 3-year-old. He plays with the iPad. They do their whole thing. So dad ends up falling asleep on the couch, 8:39 in the morning, whatever. And when he wakes up, his son's gone. iPad's there, son's gone, doors open to the backyard. He's freaking out. He goes out where they live. They've got this huge area of forest behind them. So he's running around. He's going through the forest. He's calling his name. He can't hear him. He's looking for him. He's just going bananas. Calls the sheriff. The sheriff comes out, brings a team to look and do a search and rescue. They actually end up also bringing a helicopter that flies up over the area around the property. They end up finding the boy. They're able to navigate the sheriff's deputies to where the boy is. They grab him. He's safe. He'd been gone for maybe a few hours. Thankfully, he's returned to his dad. His dad is just ecstatic. He's crying. He's emotional. It was a really, really sort of a heart-wrenching moment to see these photos, and understanding that I have a 3-year-old very similar in age. Just to imagine, what would you do if your kid did go missing for only a couple hours, which is a blessing compared to what's happened in the past for other people. So on a positive note, that's why I wanted this story to be in here, because it is positive. It's positive that, one, it's a good story. They found the boy. They reunited him with his dad, which is amazing. The other part of this story is that the cops did a phenomenal job. They went above and beyond with that search and rescue and the helicopter, which was able to find out where he was and get those deputies to him. So hats off to them, and just another Wonderless news story here today. So our next segment would normally be maybe a story from you guys, something that's happened in your life or a friend of yours or family member that's wonderless, something that is a positive feel-good story. In this case, we don't have those yet. You guys haven't given them to me, and I've gone through a couple of mine already. So I'm really going to use this as sort of a wonderless thought. So let's call this the wonderless thought. And this thought is about, let's look at what happened in that story just previously with the kid that was rescued by the sheriff's deputies. Hats off to the cops in this case and what happened in this situation. And I know that what's happened in the past continues to happen. It's not balanced. It's not fair. But the police, for the majority, I believe they're doing what they can, and they're trying to help all of us and protect us, as their job is to do that. So I wanted to take that moment to appreciate them for this story, because they did reunite this boy. They did find him. They used their resources to do so. And it just shows that, yes, there are bad apples in every force, law enforcement, business, society, town, community. We know. But it's good. It's a good reminder for us to hear about something like this that's positive, something that really gives them that pat on the back that they deserve for when they do a good job. So thank you to them in Florida. Thank you to all police officers out there who protect us and who do their job well and help all of us in the community be safe. So with that, look, if you have a story that you want to share with us here in the show, please do. You can email it to me. The email address is there on the screen. Send me the story with pictures, video, your name or not your name, what happened in the story, what about this story was positive and something that's a feel-good story that we want to say here on Wonderless News. And I will read it and make it part of the show. In the meantime, thanks again for watching and listening. I'm Hoyt Christopher, and this is Wonderless News. See you tomorrow.